the Ring Fanatics Podcast, episode number 38, our second take of this episode. We had to do it the first time. Internet connection was bad. But episode number 38 of the Ring Fanatics Podcast. I'm Nick, your host. And with me, my co-host Joel. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like, drop a comment, and also drop like I said, follow us on Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you can be found. I'm wearing our merch. Go ahead and buy our merch to support us. The more support, as always, the more support, the better we get. This episode's topic is another topic that was I spoke about in my recent appearance on the Turnbuckle Tavern podcast appearance that I made. It's about how basically how the fans returning come July 16th to WWE, if that can affect a superstar's heel or babyface appearance when they come back. Do you think, Joel, that when the fans come back on July 16th, that will affect, like I said, a superstar's either run as a babyface or heel? Do you think that'll affect someone in a way?
In my opinion, 100%. It's gonna play a part, as gonna play a factor on who's heel and face, because right now they're setting the tone. As I said, WWE,
Yeah.
well, every wrestling company right now is setting the tone on who's heel and who's babyface. But once the fans are there, the fans will let you know the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, because I've also seen like a lot of responses on Twitter and stuff like that. Do you think because of them being in the Thunderdome for so long, they can edit, put in sound effects, cheers, boos, whatever. Do you think that we are being forced to love or hate a superstar that's being put out there on their shows?
Um, for yeah, I would say yeah. I would say yeah. I think they're trying to put it in your mindset that, hey, this guy should be booed. Hey, this
Yeah.
person should be cheered. We see it every week with Roman Reigns when he comes out. They put in the boo sound effect. I'm telling you right now, the first SmackDown in front of a packed crowd, he's getting a pop.
Yeah.
He's getting a pop just because of just the heel work that he's been doing is phenomenal. He's become a fan favorite now. Well, he was always a fan favorite, but he was more like
He was supposed to be a fan favorite, but no one liked it. That was the thing.
but but he was a fan favorite with like the kids and the younger
I mean,
crowd.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
The older people like ourselves saw through the bullshit and we were like, this is like they're really like forcing him down our throats.
yeah. I mean,
Um
I don't think that's a thing though. Like the reason why I brought this up and wanted to talk about this is that like, it's kind of weird how like he's supposed to be a heel, but people love it,
yeah.
which is literally the opposite of what we're supposed to be seeing. And now, as you mentioned, like as he was a babyface, a lot of people didn't like it
Yeah.
and booed him, which just doesn't make sense to me. Like he was supposed to be the guy who everyone loved, but no one liked it.
What happened was why no one liked that, why everybody booed him was because they didn't let it happen naturally. They
Yeah,
just were like, hey, this is the guy. They didn't let us watch him and let us decide, hey, this is the guy. Which,
yeah,
if they didn't force him so much, down the line we might have just gotten to the point that we were like, this is the guy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? At the moment, we were like, Seth Rollins, this is the guy. And they decided to turn Rollins heel. So every time it was Rollins and Reigns, they would have the opposite reaction. They wanted Rollins to get booed, but everybody would pop for him. They wanted Reigns to get cheered, but everybody would boo him.
yeah,
So we picked the person they didn't want us to pick as the top dog. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, like I think it's more of the case on like, oh, like Rome, because I feel like right now, obviously, like Roman is doing a better job in terms of being a heel than him portraying himself as a babyface. Not
Oh,
blaming
definitely.
him,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's weird for me to see how like, oh, Roman's getting cheered. He's basically getting cheered for doing a good job,
Yeah.
but then also was getting booed for not doing a good job. So that's how I feel like people are portraying this as like, oh, I didn't like him as a baby heel. I mean, baby face. I don't like it. So boo him. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you right now, none of this is Roman Reigns' fault. Like
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
run,
that's right.
but like they just did it all wrong with him. Like they were like, hey, this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy. Kept telling us this is the guy. Then you want us to like him, and you put him in the main event Mania against Triple H, a legend. Nobody really wanted to see that match, and Roman Reigns won. Nobody also wanted to see that. Then after the night after, AJ Styles won the number one contender. We said, oh, this is it. This is the time for AJ to get made. And then you have him beat the guy 3 pay-per-views in a row. One of the most favorited wrestlers in your company. You have him beat AJ 3 pay-per-views straight. Right. So this wasn't Roman. It was just the way they booked him. Same way when they had him beat Undertaker. Why would you put him against Undertaker? You know he's gonna get booed. Like you're trying to make him the top star and have him get cheered, but you're putting him in all these predicaments that are gonna get him booed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but what makes him likable now? Is it because they're
What
finally booking him well enough, or is it like, do you think
what
it's
what
just
it is that Reigns has that heel look.
yeah,
He has the heel look. He should have never been a babyface. He should have been the one to turn heel on the Shield.
yeah,
I think he should have been the one to turn his back. He was the powerhouse. He was the favorite in that group.
yeah,
And I think that's why they were like, oh, this is the guy. Because we're kind
yeah,
of choosing him at that moment. But then the way they booked it was just like,
yeah,
nah, we like Rollins. You let Rollins speak. You let him be a heel. You let him do his thing. And now we saw his personality and we said, hey, Rollins is the guy.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I
I
mean,
think it
because
was just the way they booked Reigns.
I think, I mean, right now I feel like I kind of figure that by the time the crowds come back, everyone's gonna like you said before, a big pop will come out of it.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think that no matter what, he'll be just fine with in terms of getting that reaction. With him personally, yes. Because I think what they did well with him was partnering him with Heyman and Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Um, because I know we've seen a lot of Roman Reigns talking over Paul Heyman, as opposed to vice versa when he was with Brock, where Paul Heyman did all the talking for him.
Yeah.
But I think when the fans return, it should go back to Paul Heyman doing all the talking. Because I know once Roman Reigns opens his mouth and talks and says a word, a big reaction is going to get out of it. And I
Yeah. I feel
know
you.
when Paul Heyman talks, everyone's going to boo him. He can easily get someone to boo people, a lot of people to boo him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
That's his
think
gift.
that's his. Everyone, I don't think anyone could love him at any point. I mean, we've seen him for years. Still, everyone can hate him. But the thing is, with the Jey Uso, luckily, like I said before, thank God he partnered Roman Reigns with Heyman and Uso, because what we've seen in basically most of Roman's matches during the year he returned in last year, he's basically helped Roman win most of his matches. You know, we've seen him cheat, we've seen him
Yeah.
come in, help out, stuff like that. I think that's one way to keep doing, one thing to keep doing, because that everyone hates that. You know, I know you don't like when Jey Uso interrupts a match. I don't like when Jey Uso
Yeah.
interrupts a match. Why not like continue that? You know what I mean? That's gonna get
Yeah.
people to boo both of them. You know what I mean? But Heyman
No,
basically,
I definitely feel
that's
you.
gonna piss people
That,
off, and that's the point. And that's the point that
yeah.
people don't like see that too, because when they think of a heel, like, oh, why? Of course, now I'm going to turn up my television because I don't like what just happened. But of course, that's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to like it.
Yeah.
That's literally the point of a heel. But then people all of a sudden
Exactly. Yeah.
don't like it. I'm like, okay, it's not their fault. It's your fault.
Yeah, that's why I thought Roman Reigns, like I said earlier, I thought Roman Reigns should have been the one to turn his back on the Shield, because
yeah,
I feel that's an easy way to hate somebody, especially Reigns. Like if you look at Rollins' run under the
yeah,
Authority, it's the cheating and the winning with help and all this other stuff, and you hated Rollins because of it. But how much more would have you hated it if Roman Reigns, this big ass dude, brolic as hell, is having people help him win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I think he's working the heel character so good, and they're booking it right at the moment. Hopefully they don't fuck it up. Hopefully, knock on
They're not
wood.
going to. I don't
Hopefully
think
they
they will.
don't fuck it up.
The
Uh,
one thing that I thought
have you
about.
seen the booking in WWE?
Yeah, I know. But one thing that I said on the Turnbuckle Tavern that I won't say here again. One thing I think I mean, they could always revisit this. I don't think this is at the end of this feud, but I think they should have waited till the fans returned to have that Cesaro feud, because that's the guy who everyone's gonna be behind. Like, I
Yeah.
know, like, everyone's been saying for years, Cesaro should have gone for a championship opportunity. I don't remember the last time he's gotten one before this past one. So I think that feud should have been the feud to go. Because if you put Roman Reigns against a babyface that will everyone will get behind, that's how you book a strong heel too.
Yeah.
Because I know people will boo Roman and cheer Cesaro. Because you can't cheer both at the same time. That's physically impossible. In this case.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought that they should have ran with this feud and waited until the fans return. And again, like I said, like, they could always go back to it and continue it.
Yeah.
But I know, people are gonna eventually. I don't know. I don't think maybe that won't be the case anymore. I don't know, but maybe I kind of, with, you mentioned Seth Rollins before with, like, how people hated him and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think he could be someone who can easily be hated too. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't really get that much time as a heel before the pandemic hit, but I know once the fans come back and you continue this annoying, obnoxious Seth Rollins, that's gonna get on people's nerves.
Yeah.
So, like, I know that, and then again, kind of like cut ways. One person that I had, like, I'm thinking about, like, I don't know what's. I think he's gonna get mixed reactions when fans come back. It's Drew
Ooh.
McIntyre.
Yeah.
People aren't.
He's gonna get mixed.
Yeah,
He's gonna get
Bobby
mixed.
Lashley is probably gonna get cheers, because
Cheers.
people
Yeah.
love him. People love him. But
Yeah.
again,
Definitely.
he's not supposed to be a babyface.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the guy, that arrogant guy who's in the hurt business, who's supposed to get, doing all the right things. But of course, because it's Bobby Lashley and MVP. And then I think Keith Lee, I know he's been out for a bit. He should be his first opponent back.
That
And
should be the SummerSlam match.
or should I was gonna mention, or Brock. I think when Brock comes back, he could be an easy babyface by
Brock
himself
is the easy
Baby
match for SummerSlam to
against
get a big, like, because they really want to sell SummerSlam this year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
What bigger than Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar,
yeah.
right?
Isn't it? Yeah. Of
And,
course.
like, I feel the same way with Roman Reigns, with all the rumors that are going around with what's gonna main event SummerSlam. I think that puts him in a weird spot, because they're saying Reigns and Cena, of course, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? The Reigns and Cena, is that a smart move?
Um, on paper, yes, it looks good, and yes, I would want to see that.
Yeah.
But like we've been talking about, is it a smart move in terms of getting Roman over as a heel? No, it's not.
I think so.
Because I feel like every time John Cena returned within the past few years, he's been booed.
Oh yeah, but
So,
that's what's the cool thing to do. You
but
know
then
what I
you
mean?
can
Of
make people
course,
want to cheer your
but
baby heel.
but the small kids know, like, everybody. All you gotta think about the kids. Everybody is a Cena fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No
I mean,
matter
honestly,
what it
I'm
is.
not personally gonna boo Cena. I'm not personally
Oh,
gonna boo
I
him. But,
love to
like,
boo Cena because it's just fun. But I love Cena. That's the guy right there. When I
yeah.
growing up, that was the dude. So, like,
Yeah.
this is a cool spot, but also weird because you have the guy from now versus the guy from back then. And if you book it right, this could be a big heel story, because if you would have had Roman Reigns heel against Taker, have him beat Taker, that's a huge heel move.
Yeah.
And then to come out and be like, this is my yard. The same thing he did just as a heel would have worked.
Yeah.
Now, if you book him and Cena the right way, because the big thing for Roman Reigns is Reigns gonna be able to beat Cena? Is he gonna be able to hold on to the belt? All this stuff. And then on Cena's side, what is it, 17? If he goes for the
Yeah.
belt, this would be, will he beat Ric Flair's record?
What?
Now, a lot of fans might want to see him beat the record because John Cena is just that guy, and some people might not. But if Roman beats him, that's gonna be a big heel moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that like one match I would rather see Roman go up against. I know it already happened, but Edge. I'd rather see Roman
Yeah,
because technically, storyline wise, Edge never got that one-on-one match that he wanted. He hasn't been back since, so I know once the fans return, people are going to easily pop for him, and
yeah,
that's basically going to relive that original storyline for that Mania match. Like, am I going to get my championship that I never lost? Or maybe put something different to it, like either I win this championship or I'm done for good. To make and then you build up the story like, oh, I'm going to retire Edge like I did with Daniel Bryan. Two easily favored guys who everyone didn't or don't want to see go. Especially since Edge just returned. So I think that way you build it up, and of course he's gonna like basically mock Edge. Everyone's gonna boo him, and everyone's gonna be behind Edge. So I think that would be like a backup plan and my preferred plan to go in terms of booking the SummerSlam match.
So I've actually been calling this for a while. Ever since I found out John Cena was coming back, I've been calling this for a while. This is a way again to get Roman Reigns, because the whole thing with Roman Reigns is you want him to be the top heel and do the most heel things he could do to win. So the easiest way, I've talked about this with my brother, and I said the easiest way to do this is John Cena comes out the night he returns, and like you said, Edge comes out. I never got my one-on-one match, all this other stuff. We've been through so much. You open SummerSlam with Cena versus Edge. Winner gets number one contender in the main event.
Ooh, that would be a great match.
And you have them go 20, 25 minutes, beat the hell out of each other, so that the main event, whoever fights Reigns is already
Beat up.
beat up. Yeah. And that just makes Roman Reigns even more of a heel because it's like, yo, you didn't even give them time to rest. You know what I mean?
Kind of like the Elimination Chamber that happened this past year, where like the winner gets the match directly after the Chamber match. Where
that could be another thing. If you do it directly after, people will boo. People would boo.
And like I said, use Jey Uso to interrupt. Maybe like before Roman comes out, Jey Uso just attacks Edge or whoever wins. Then that way they're even more tired. So that way Roman comes out, and then he just continues on beating up whoever the challenger is, and then the match happens for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
you could use the whole month, like, because he's supposed to return middle of July, right?
Yeah.
August, at the end of August is when SummerSlam is.
Yeah.
You have a month to book Edge versus Cena, but also the winner versus Roman Reigns. And then throughout the weeks, you also have Cena and Edge tag up on SmackDown and fight the Usos and fight, you know what I mean? And you just build it up more and more. And then I'm telling you, it's a great heel move.
It is.
And that's how you kind of dictate how the fans react, because now these are two guys that whoever wins, people are gonna be happy to see win. But then Roman Reigns comes out. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you're gonna get the boos.
Yeah. But in terms of like Bobby Lashley, like with that what
one.
I want to see, like the babyface Brock go up against either Bobby Lashley, or would you want him to go against Roman too? Because I know he's also, that match has also been kind of like rumored to go around lately. The storyline going around, oh, Paul Heyman was my guy. I was a Paul Heyman guy before you. Yep. Or you just go up against Bobby because that's the dream match, supposedly. Which match would you choose? If if Vince came up to you right now and was like, yo, we only get to book this one match this summer, one time only, Roman or Bobby, who would you choose? You only get one choice.
Let me put my Booker's hat on. I would put Lashley and Brock.
Lashley and Braun, same here, man.
Yeah, and because you put Roman Reigns as the main event.
Yeah.
Because I had the like for SummerSlam to be perfect in my mind, for this to happen. Brock and Lashley, Reigns and either Cena and Edge. Reigns ends the pay-per-view holding the belt above his head.
Yeah.
But Brock beats Lashley. Brock beats Lashley for the belt. And I don't know if you want to do, because you could turn Lashley face and have Brock as a heel.
Yeah.
And that makes it even better. Or you just have face Brock, which is tough. Face Brock is tough to pull off.
Yeah.
Because either way, he's going to get booed, and it's going to be half boos, half cheers. Because he just has that personality. People.
Maybe you started off with like Bobby challenging Brock. Like he calls him out and he's like, yo, I want you face to face.
Yeah.
That gets the excitement going with like, oh, now we're getting the dream match. Now we're getting that match. That gets people, the fans, hyped up already. Like, oh, shit. Everyone's talking about Brock. And then you have Brock return eventually at like a surprise moment. And then that's going to get the fans rallied up because, the more he hypes it up and the more he like trolls everyone like, oh, nah, he's not coming out kind of thing. Then eventually he does at a random point like, oh, shit, it's actually true. Or maybe it's just WWE trolling us at the moment. That type of way will get the fans, behind Brock and boo against Bobby. Because if you just have like random, like, as we always seen it with Brock, like Brock just randomly comes out, suplexes everyone in the ring like 10,000 times, and then does the F5 a couple times. That's not the way to go with Brock as a babyface.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way he returned back in 2012. He just randomly showed up, and then with that unexpectedly. So
that's a fact.
Like, even though I mentioned like, oh, Bobby calling out Brock, everyone's gonna call out Brock. The Brock is the guy who everyone wants to face.
Exactly.
Of course, that's like a typical Bobby thing. So this is kind of be like unexpected in a way. So I think that's the way to go and book it if you want to do Bobby versus Brock at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So
it's just, there's so much stuff they could do.
Yeah.
And like so much but there is a lot of moving around that would have to happen.
Yeah.
But also I love fantasy booking. Yeah. But we should do a Patreon episode straight on fantasy booking SummerSlam. Okay. Like that should be a thing. But I think Brock and Roman after SummerSlam should be the two champs.
Brock and Roman?
And Reigns. Yeah.
Brock and Roman. Yeah.
I think they should both be the champs. And then this leads up to.
This kind of changes the picture because I forgot to mention this. Money in the Bank is before SummerSlam. So if you were to choose someone to win the Money in the Bank, is that going to change now their status? Like, oh, is it going to be a babyface who's going to cash in, a heel?
I don't even know who I would give Money in the Bank to. I would probably you could
realize like who's going to cash in on one of them.
You could do, which right now doesn't look like it because they're in a tag team. But if Matt Riddle wins Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah.
We have the potential of Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar.
But I think that would be a match that doesn't need to be with the Money in the Bank. I would if I were Vince, I would not have Riddle win Money in the Bank to face Brock. Because that story needs a build up to it, and not just a random cash in.
I would do a random cash in.
Really?
I would do a random cash in.
I would this.
But you ready? Fantasy booking. He's not cashing in on Brock. He jumps to SmackDown, cashes in on Roman, and we got Matt Riddle, Brock Lesnar, Survivor Series. champion versus champion.
Wow.
Tell me that doesn't intrigue you. Because then you go from SummerSlam, because you could even end it with Brock coming at the end of SummerSlam and just you see Heyman in the middle of them like, yo, relax, and they both just hold up the belt. And then these next couple months you build up Survivor Series. That's the next big pay-per-view, right? And at every show, like every pay-per-view in September, October, you have them just walk past each other backstage and have a little talk.
And our series, not because Hell in a Cell is not in.
I don't know what pay-per-views they're doing now in September and October.
Yeah, I'm confused. I don't know. But so it should be Survivor Series is typically in what month? October, right? Or November?
November. It's usually the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay, so there's probably like 2 pay-per-views in between. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that could work probably.
Yeah, so you have them walk past each other and you hype it up. You hype it up like crazy. And then the first week of November, Matt Riddle cashes in on SmackDown. And then you got 3 weeks to build up Brock and Matt Riddle. And throughout this, Matt Riddle's calling out Brock on Raw. But Brock doesn't pay attention to him. So the only way to get attention from him is cash in on Roman and fight him.
Let me tell you this. Let me ask you this though. How would you book the Money in the Bank cash in on Roman? Would you have someone help him, or would you have him lose cleanly, or whatever? Because that's the thing. You got to figure out a way for to not have Roman lose cleanly to Riddle. You have to have like a someone beat him down. Do like a roll up pin or some shit. That's not believable for Riddle to beat Roman.
What happens during Survivor Series season?
Okay, yes, okay.
People jump back and forth, right?
Oh yes, yeah.
If a brawl ends SmackDown and everything's going on around and everybody's fighting and Roman's just in the middle like, yo, these people are stupid. They're fighting for no reason. And Matt Riddle just slides under the rope. Or even you have Brock come out, F5 Roman, leave as everybody's fighting, and Matt Riddle just slides in, does his finisher. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, that's actually not bad. We don't need a Patreon episode for this. No, we're joking.
Yo.
We need a Patreon episode for this, man.
I'm telling you, we'll plan it out, bro.
Plan it out.
I'm telling you, that would be. I look at it as that's a way, because Roman is someone I look at that doesn't need the title.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can let him hold it till November, and then SummerSlam he's just taking it another level up. He's already on the top level, but now he's moving it another level up because he's gonna beat either Cena or Edge, 2 legends.
Yeah.
Either way, that cements him.
Yeah.
Now you let him bring up somebody that hasn't had a title yet.
Yeah. So I was gonna mention the fact that you said that he doesn't need a title. Kind of relates to a topic, something that I wanted to bring up. Do you think a loss can affect Roman at all? No, right?
Nah.
Exactly.
He's just got so much momentum behind him.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like since the cash-in wouldn't be an actual match and it would be like a sneak kind of cash-in, it wouldn't really hurt him.
The reason why I brought that up is because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of momentum behind someone to be like, oh, if they lose a match, they're automatically buried.
They're buried, bro.
Everyone loves that word. I swear to God.
I hate it.
I know. It's the same thing with the fucking Fiend. He loses a match, he's all of a sudden buried. Why? Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think that Goldberg loss was a big fucking deal. I didn't think that was a big deal.
That hurt.
No.
It wasn't a big deal, but it was why would you? What happened was he had momentum behind him. I don't say he was buried, but he had so much momentum behind him. And then to just have him lose like that, it was what? Why? Why would you even do that?
I think people take losses way too seriously. And it's they expect someone like a Roman to kind of be undefeated forever.
Yeah.
It's okay, he could lose a match cleanly,
People look at it as if you have a title, you shouldn't lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you do, that's the downfall. That's like, no, that's not even.
People win and lose matches all the time, especially titles. And that's
exactly.
That's literally the point.
Exactly.
Like LeBron loses games all the time. Doesn't mean he's undefeated just because he's on the team.
All the fucking time he loses games. Let's talk about it. But it's a fact. What's different now is like I've been watching those A&E documentaries. I don't know if you've been watching them.
I saw one of them, but I didn't see the rest of them.
They've actually been pretty good, except for the Macho Man one, which pissed me off. But that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But they give like a show after, which is like they're looking for like their treasure, WWE treasure.
Yeah.
And they're like buying memorabilia off of collectors that bought them throughout the year. So like title belts, mask, and all this stuff. And like never noticed that like now, like I always thought about it, but never really noticed it till I was watching the show and they were like, oh yeah, Bob Backlund held the belt for 6 years. Iron Sheik had it for like 4. Bruno Sammartino had it for this long. And it's like, imagine if that happened now.
Yeah.
Imagine if somebody held the title for 3 years.
I mean, we have some people who have held it for almost that year long. Walter's held it for 2 years.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like main roster on TV every week.
Yeah.
In the mainstream.
I think the most people that have held it, the longest people have held it was like 2 years at most, around that time.
Maybe.
Yeah, but then that's
Maybe.
like it's long. It's if not, it's about like 100 to 200 days.
Yeah,
Average range.
I think the longest I've seen recently was maybe like Mania to Mania.
Yeah, like Becky Lynch was Mania to Mania.
Yeah.
And the New Day held the tag titles for like 400 days.
Yeah.
And that was like a historic thing for tag teams. And that was only.
Yeah. But yeah, I was watching that. I was like, wow, like if somebody did that now, they would be called overrated. Like they would get so much hate that burying the other guys.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, really. Like it's cool with Roman because I feel like it's Roman and they built it up well. But if he loses, it's not going to mean he's buried, and it's not going to mean he can lose cleanly to somebody that respect, and it's completely fine because it's not burying him technically. So I don't think that's going to be an issue with him. Same with Bobby Lashley. If it's not Drew McIntyre, whoever beats him, it's not going to ruin his momentum. He's still fine.
Unless he gets squashed.
No, I mean, that's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to make that happen. I mean, I know it's happened with Kofi in 5 seconds. I understand that. But like,
I would make it happen.
No, like I don't think they will. I think he would actually have a decent match to lose.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be like a complete squash match, like a 5 seconds.
I think that's the only thing that could kill momentum, like a squash match.
Yeah.
Like a real bad one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that is
Maybe, because even then you're like, oh, all right, like
I don't think he can actually have a bad match though. Like even if it's not a long time, I don't think it would be a bad match.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I know 5 seconds, the Kofi match was a different story because it was 5 seconds. And plus, that was the first episode of Fox, so I'm pretty sure Fox was like, "Yo, I want Brock as champion." Whatever.
Yeah, and then they never went back and like gave him a rematch or nothing. They just the next week he was back with New Day. I was like, all right.
But I'm glad he's back in right now, but that's a whole different conversation.
Oh, they needed to. They needed to because it's.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna tell you straight up. Haven't watched Raw in a couple weeks. Been watching highlights on YouTube because, wow.
Yeah, because you know what? Respect the MVP. Shout out to MVP.
Oh, shout out to MVP. That's the guy right there.
Pulling it down. But that's the thing too, though. Like I think he's a tough one. I don't think he should be cheered when he comes back. As great of a job, that's what I said before. Like I think people are basing it off of how good of a job they're doing in the company. So he's doing a great job. Doesn't mean you gotta cheer him when he comes back. You know, he's not supposed to be cheered. He's supposed to be booed. I think he's gonna eventually help or make Kofi heel. I think eventually, if that's the case, then it's probably gonna end up being a heel. Do I see it happening? I don't want it to happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. But if that's what they're going with, then I think there could be a great heel group. You know, like the new Hurt Business.
Yeah.
Maybe Kofi will join MVP, which I wouldn't be surprised at either, because I know Kofi and MVP are good friends, and that's like a whole story itself.
Yeah.
Her business. Personally, no offense to Xavier Woods, but I don't fuck with him.
What?
As a singles competitor, hell no.
Why not?
I don't know.
Dude is entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think he needed the New Day more than the New Day needed him. I feel like.
Oh yeah, because he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, he was beforehand. He wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Big E and Kofi. Let's say if back 6-7 years ago, whenever the New Day happened,
Yeah.
if that never happened at all, Xavier Woods would probably be in deep trouble right now, or been in deep trouble. I think Kofi.
But I think all of them would have.
No, I don't think so. I think Kofi and Big E would have been fine.
Look at what Kofi was doing before New Day. What was he doing?
I mean, they could have found something because he's been with the company for a while since.
Right, and then what was Big E doing before New Day? He was having that horrendous IC title run.
He weren't giving the time though. They weren't given the time.
But would they have given him the time? They weren't giving him a personality or nothing. New Day really helped show that all three of them actually had personality. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not saying the New Day ruined them. Obviously, the New Day was completely fine the way it is. Like, I love New Day. Great people, a great run, an amazing run. I'm not saying anything bad about the New Day, that they ruined them. But I'm just saying, like, if that didn't happen, then I think they would have been fine with the way that they had the career turned out. I don't think they would have had terrible runs. So, but I think Xavier, if they would have had terrible singles runs, if they didn't join the New Day, I think Xavier would have been the most in trouble in terms of I think he would have been someone who would have been released by now, in my opinion.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with him. He came his debut in the main roster was with Tyrus, right? What was his name in WWE? What's up?
Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay, yeah. I always say Tyrus because that was Impact. But yeah, Brodus Clay, like right there, you should know, there's nothing for me here. Like, they got me debuting with this guy, not doing nothing. You know what I mean? So like, they really had nothing for him. So he had to do something. And if you look in the New Day history, he's really taken up the manager role. Yeah, he fights and stuff, but most of the time, if you see them winning titles, it's Biggie and Kofi, and he's the third man.
He's the one that does most of the talking. That's why.
Because he has the personality to.
Yeah,
Biggie could talk and stuff, but Xavier just has that captivating charisma about him when he speaks, and they wouldn't let him do that if he was alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been like, "Yo, here's the mic, Kobe. Like, try it out." They probably would have thrown a manager at him.
Maybe. I think so.
Most likely.
I think so. I think he could be a great manager, honestly.
Oh, hell yeah, he would.
Like, I think that's what they. Like, I hope that's what they give him. Because honestly, if they were to split up right now, I don't know what they would have planned for Xavier in terms of.
Oh yeah. Nothing.
They would have nothing for him.
Yeah.
If I were WWE, I would play it safe and give him like a manager role. Maybe do something, because I know his gimmick. I couldn't even tell you what his gimmick was before New Day.
He was a dancer.
He was a dancer.
That's how he debuted with Brodus Clay. With he would wet his hair and then like flick it back, and all the water would spray. Yeah, it was bad.
But the thing is, though, like I remember if I watched back like how the New Day first formed, it was like he had like glasses, a suit on. He was talking. It was like saying some fancy ass words. I couldn't even tell you. Yeah,
because they were supposed to be. They had the approach like they were preachers.
Yeah, so I think they could do something with him where like they could turn into like an MVP 2.0 type of thing, to where like he could do all the talking.
Well, that's what he's doing now. He's playing the manager role to Kofi in the title picture.
I mean, I feel like he could do more than just be that creative guy, like that foolish guy with trombone and all that shit.
Yeah.
I even though he probably wouldn't. That's what I always thought about. Like, what if like Xavier didn't do the New Day stuff and went on his own? Would he have a successful career? Maybe not.
Probably not.
now. Maybe I think
Who?
if Xavier like right now, if they would have split up right now,
Oh
would
yeah.
he have a successful career, a singles run? Maybe. Um. So yeah, we have to find out about that. But that's
Yeah.
a heel Kofi is something that I kind of want to see now partner with MVP. As I know tag teams aren't the best to split up, but if they both join the Hurt Business and like kind of maybe turn on Big E, in a way where like, oh, maybe at the next pay-per-view, because pay-per-views are technically both brands and both brands can meet up.
Yeah.
That's what they could do. I know that there's a new draft date coming up. I think it's the end of August.
Yeah.
Draft over Big E to the same show as them to where they could have the feud on the same show. So that way it could actually be like they turn on the New Day. Because I don't know, like, would you still consider Big E as part of the New Day?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he has his own singles run and all. But like, yeah, that could be like the way to end it officially without just like saying, "Oh, there's no more New Day." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kinda
Or that's the way to get Big E the title.
yeah, maybe that it's for the title. Maybe the next challenge after that, he goes to Raw, and then
And he feuds with Lashley because he got his boys.
yeah, then if he loses, nah, I was gonna say custody of the New Day, but custody of the New Day.
custody ladder match.
Yeah. And then at the top is just contracts with like Xavier's and Kofi's name on it.
Yo.
Yeah, that would be a match I would see. That's how I would book it. Maybe at SummerSlam. It's 2 months from now. Would you continue this kind of thing between MVP and Kofi for that long? Maybe.
Yeah. Why not?
Do it.
There's nothing else going on Raw. You know what I mean? Like
They're known for dragging out a lot of shit and then like
yeah.
doing things for too long and it gets boring. So maybe I wouldn't do it every week. You know, like maybe you have a
Here
story.
and there.
Yeah. Maybe at Hell in a Cell. Not in Hell in a Cell. That'll be too soon. But it's kind of like how they did the Jay story with Roman last year, where you had like, you know, Jay feud with Roman, then eventually they turn on each other.
Yeah.
Well, Jay turns on the fans, and then he joins Roman type of thing. Did the same thing where like, oh, Kofi's being the good guy, MVP is trying to persuade Kofi to join the Hurt Business, but then, maybe then eventually maybe at SummerSlam is when they turn heel and join the Hurt Business, and then that's when they feud with Big E if he goes to Raw.
Yeah. Man, they just gotta learn not to drag shit out and make it longer than it needs to be. You know what I mean? Because I think a Hell in a Cell would be perfect. I think that's the perfect time just to start that off.
Yeah.
Turn him.
Yeah.
Because
So
then, like, if you wait too long, man, I don't know.
you had Big E win Money in the Bank. And that's how
Maybe.
kind of like talk about it on both brands for a little bit. Not too obsessive, but then maybe you have Money in the Bank. And then like you have you know, you kind of hint at Big E. He hints to people like, oh, maybe I can cash it in on Bobby. I'm coming for Bobby eventually. That's how you cash in on Bobby. He goes to Raw, and then that whole storyline kind of starts.
Yeah.
It continues actually because it'll already be started at that point.
It's just, I don't know. I do like the heel Kofi under MVP. And
Yeah.
I think Xavier under him would be cool too. I think like the New Day under MVP would be dope. And then the feud with Bobby, like with Big E going back and forth trying to figure out who he's gonna cash in on. You know what I mean? And then slowly he sees that New Day is like kind of like siding with MVP. I don't know if I would just do it drastically, like boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, would you do it drastically, or would you do it just like slowly?
I would take it slow with it. I wouldn't do it as soon as possible.
Yeah. And then slowly you have like Kofi being like, yeah, but MVP's kind of right about this, and you know what I mean? Like slowly
maybe you do something
planting the seeds.
where you like maybe he turns on Xavier first.
Yeah.
Then he feuds with Xavier for a pay-per-view, and then MVP, like you see like a backstage segment where like MVP kind of goes to Xavier, be like, yo, it's not too late to join us now. I know you have beef with Kofi, but like I think it would be better if he joins too, because eventually now they're done. He's by himself. What else does he got to do? So I think something like that, and then eventually that's when you get Big E on the mix, where like I said, if he wins Money in the Bank, or after Money in the Bank, when that happens, he's kind of like, oh, he took both my boys, and now it's just by myself.
Or,
Now I got to go to Bobby. Unexpected.
or you could even have Xavier become the manager role of Big E.
Okay, that is true. And then he starts his own kind of thing, the New Day with Xavier as the new day, the first, manager. Not
like he's the top manager. Yeah.
And then like maybe Keith Lee will come through. Keith Lee's a New Day, but that he doesn't really fit that kind of thing, unless
Or maybe he's just the manager for Big E, and he's just like, yo, he's taking the title off of you. You know what I mean? That's
unless you have Keith Lee return to the main Raw, and then have kind of like this storyline dragging out with Kofi, like, yo, join us, kind of thing. And then at the end, like when he has to make a decision, Keith Lee comes out. He's ended up being the one to join the Hurt Business. And then it's Bobby and Keith Lee. And then versus the New Day kind of storyline.
You ready for a hot take?
Go ahead.
Keith Lee hasn't been on TV in how long?
He wants.
And I'm tired of him.
How come? Why?
He hasn't even been on TV.
Why? What happened?
I don't know. It's just maybe it's because every week everybody's always reporting like, "Where's Keith Lee at?" Da 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 da. I'm just like,
yeah,
I could really care less. You know what I mean? Like, and then what they were doing with him when he was there, I did not care.
Yeah.
For what he was doing, I think they called him up too early.
I mean, yeah. I would agree on that part. I think it was too early to kind of call him up.
Because I like when he won the 2 titles. He could have had an amazing run a couple months. What he did, 2 months at max?
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, I think he could have had a long run with those 2 titles. Or even just dropping one of them. Like dropping the North American and keeping the world title and having a long run with that. And they just like, nah, you know what, we're gonna go with Cross, and you know what, we're gonna call you up. And then they gave him a singlet, and it was just like, what are you doing, man? It was just bad.
Yeah.
And then it got me to this point that I'm just like,
I think they could still bring him back. I think they could still like obviously bring him back, but I think they could bounce back with it.
Yeah, hopefully, because I like him. Hopefully they could do something with him.
I think
when I saw that they released a couple more people, I thought he was gonna be on the list.
Me too.
I thought he was gonna be on the list.
But I think they can still find something creatively with him. As much as a great competitor as he is, I feel like he needs something to go along with him. Just I think being in a group can benefit him heavily. I just didn't. I kind of agree with what you were saying. Like I liked his in-ring ability, but him being by himself was kind of weird. I think he could be somebody that won't expect to see as a heel. If maybe like he comes back, it's maybe Bobby Lashley's beating down the New Day, Xavier, Kofi. Maybe they attack Big E, and then no. This is how I would book it at a pay-per-view. Like not I don't know any pay-per-view. I don't care. You have like Bobby Lashley beat down the New Day without Big E, and then Big E comes out, tries to help out. Yo, I can help you. I can try to take down Lashley. Then Keith Lee comes out after at a return, thinking that he's gonna help Big E because Bobby, is Bobby and he has MVP and all that. And then that's when Keith Lee turns heel and then turns on Big E and joins the Hurt Business. Because I think with the Hurt Business, I've been saying this for a while. I've been saying this before Mania, that Keith Lee should be someone on the Hurt Business team.
He should have been on there from the jump, to be honest.
Yeah.
When he first got called up, I don't know.
That's the thing. I know people aren't gonna like that, but I think it'll be better.
Yeah.
But
I'll fuck with it.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like, I think it's a move for him. I think it's better for him.
How? Because now there's not a lot of big guys. How I'm gonna bring up we talked about the releases a couple seconds ago, but how you feel about Braun Strowman getting released?
Shocker, to be honest.
You
I think
what?
that's kind of a shocker. I didn't think he was going to be released. There were rumors going out that it was because of like budget issues, that he was getting paid a lot of money and they had to cut down, but instead of releasing him, I don't know. But I think with like it was definitely a shocker. I didn't think he was going to be one of them. I feel like he would be somebody that would um you know will come back to the company soon.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna
yeah.
be.
They'll resign him.
Yeah, they will sign him like pretty soon. Um, so I don't expect him to be after that long. I think it was just maybe he'll come back eventually. I don't think it'll matter to him how much he gets paid.
Once they fix their budget issue,
Yeah.
he'll be resigned.
Yeah, their budget issue.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like, I think he had a feud with Keith Lee for a bit. I think he did, but it wasn't that long. But I think Keith Lee can come back and be the big guy in the group. He could be the big guy who's dominating the whole roster. He could be the new Braun Strowman, basically.
Yeah.
But better wrestler. So I think that could be something. If you partner him with an MVP, that can make him a megastar. I think that was something that Braun Strowman didn't have, was someone to be by his side. I think that's something that was needed to be done with him. Because there was a moment, I think in 2017, 2018, that he was like the number one guy besides Roman and Brock, that everyone, like one of the top guys. But then like, of course, they didn't put a title on him sooner because it would have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
But again, they dropped the ball with him a little bit. Even though he did have a lot of star power, but again, they didn't do a lot. So it wasn't really that much. With
Yeah.
Lee, I think they can do what they didn't do with Braun Strowman. I think always thought Braun Strowman was someone that needed a manager to talk for him. That whole, get these hands thing was kind of cringy as fuck.
Oh, his whole run was cringy as fuck.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think he needed someone to kind of talk for him, do all the dirty work for him. Then that would have been something cool. Like a Paul Heyman, maybe somebody else who's a great talker. I don't know. But I think he needed more to him than just being the monster, that big guy against everyone. Then eventually along the line, maybe go by himself. I don't know. But
yeah,
more. I think Lee was added to her business at MVP.
Yeah. To be honest, in my opinion, I think there is someone that should be on the MVP. I don't think it's Keith Lee though. I think someone that does need a manager, I think it would help them quite a lot. Priest.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that.
I think that's a good fit. It gives you he's not a huge guy, but he's a tall guy. It still gives you that big guy mentality. And you have him hold the secondary belt. You have him go after the secondary belt, either US, IC. You know what I mean? Like you have him do that, and you keep Lashley as a world title, and you got the two big guys of the brand.
Yeah,
I think Keith Lee would do fine by himself. Like, manager would help, but I think he'll be fine. Damian Priest, I worry about being by himself and not having a manager.
I think
Because at least in NXT, like he was supposed to be like the quiet one and all this other stuff, and now that he's on the main roster, they just let him speak every week, and it's like, what are y'all doing?
I think pairing him up with that during that time with Bad Bunny, I think that was a great thing to do. Have him, I think if he went back to that heel, because Punishment, I didn't really follow him as Punishment Martinez.
Oh, that's a guy right there.
But the name itself, it's like, so like it's just, I think that in that whole, like I said, I didn't really follow him.
Yeah, he was more. It gave off that vibe, the same vibe he had in NXT, that he didn't really talk a lot. He just came, whooped ass, left.
That's
like
it.
You know what I mean?
Bring up that gimmick again. Will not change his name, but like bring back that gimmick.
What happens is they used that gimmick already, and it didn't work. With Aleister Black, they gave him the non-speaking role. He just came in, whooped ass, and left. But then it just, I don't know if it was just that the character didn't work, or they just didn't do enough. Well, shout out to Aleister Black. My bad, Tommy End
Yeah,
again. That's I'm so excited. Well, like people are really like, "Ah, all these guys getting released. I'm kind of excited because now this means that outside of the WWE is gonna get very interesting.
yeah, hell yeah.
As we saw last Friday, um,
Too.
my son El Idolo
And,
showing up,
and
which
we'll talk about it for a little bit. Let's end off with that. Let's end off with that.
what happened?
Let's end off the episode with that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, my opinion, of course, I loved it. I texted you like right away.
Yeah.
I loved it, but here's
Here we
here's-
go.
it was too fucking soon. It was too soon. I think because I know for fucking sure that when he comes back next week, whenever he has his first run, it's gonna be with Kenny Omega for the AAA belt, and that right there is a fucking mistake because you don't have. Like, I understand Kenny Omega has it, belt collector, I get it, but that feud shouldn't be on AEW. That feud should be focused outside of AEW because again, you have the Impact Championship on Impact, and then you have AEW doing on their platforms, not on AEW's. That's not the way to go. So I feel like he should have waited to at least till after Triple Mania to book that sign Andrade and have his run against Omega there. Maybe you have him win it or lose it no matter what, but the rematch should have happened after Triple Mania, sign him then, they build up for an AEW championship with Andrade and Omega. Don't think he should have signed now. Think it was too soon.
I understand where you're coming from, but I have to disagree. I think this is the point of AEW. AEW is like, let's work together. Let's build up other companies. You know what I mean? So their way of building up other companies is putting on different feuds from other that are gonna happen at other shows. You know what I mean? We've seen the NWA women's title defended. Um, Kenny Omega's a AAA champion, the Impact champion, and AEW champion. Um, you know, Phoenix and Pentagon are gonna be on the AAA, the AAA Mania, card most likely. You know what I mean? So you're pretty much hyping up some of your roster that's gonna be on it, and also you just signed one of the biggest free agents coming out of the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's gonna go after Kenny straight off the bat.
I don't know, maybe.
I think they'll hint at it. They'll hint at it, but I think I want to see him feud with Pac more.
Yeah, I wanted Pac.
I want to see him and Pac. Because
a lot of people.
I'm so excited because it's matches that you can have with these guys that you couldn't have before.
The reason why I mentioned that because there's no way they're not going to bring this up in AEW.
Oh, you know they're gonna.
Yeah.
You know they will. But now it's because their whole thing is we want to build it up. Because our top guy is gonna be in another company.
Yeah.
Fighting one of their top guys. And now one of their top guys just signed with us. You know what I mean? So I think it's all I think it's good. I think it's good for AEW. I think it's good for AAA. I think it's also good for Impact. Because if you saw a lot of the Perazo is fighting the AAA women's title when it takes all. So all three companies are working together. You know what I mean? So it's helping everybody. So whether you watch Impact or AEW for the next couple months, you're gonna hear about AAA.
That is true. That is true because I forgot
you know
about
what I mean?
in that match.
But I love the Andrade signing.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Great
That's my guy.
Guerrero. That's a great pairing.
I was thinking about this earlier, which it sucks that WWE wouldn't be open to working with other companies. I know they were in talks with New Japan, but
They're not endorsing them.
are they really gonna do something? You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, oh, they're in talks, they're in talks.
I don't see it happening at all.
The most they'll do is talent exchange.
Yeah.
It was just to let Daniel Bryan fight in WWE and New Japan, which we haven't heard about Daniel Bryan, and we've seen the New Japan belt be defended on a WTV.
Yeah.
Finn Juice was the tag team champions in Impact. Like they have the relationship, and I think WWE is one of those companies that's like, if you're working with them, we're not working with you.
Yeah.
I think they're that petty.
I think Impact it was the company to do so, but I think now they're working with other companies. They think no, not right now.
Yeah.
Because like you've always said, they have that kind of like partnership, that secret partnership that no one really knows about. You know, it's
yeah.
Like, I think that would have been the only company for them to work with, if that's.
Yeah. And now, would you really work with them? Because now half their roster is all the guys you release.
And that's what I was thinking too. But no,
you see, like
because maybe they would just come back not on the contract with WWE, make it paid by WWE, but you're not under contract, so they could definitely come back, do things. Maybe you have Matt Cardona return as Zack Ryder, or Kurt Hawkins come back. Some of the guys over there come back as their WWE names, whatever. But then, like I said, you don't pay them as WWE superstars. They're still the Impact stars. It's under Impact. Maybe that's the storyline right there. He released us. Why? We don't know.
Yeah, that
shouldn't be the reason.
I just don't think WWE is gonna work with anybody. No. I think the most they'll do is like that, a talent exchange, like Daniel Bryan. I think that was the whole point for Daniel Bryan to fight other places.
Yeah, because that was the thing too. Because when Jericho last left a few years ago, that was his contract. That was his contract, was to fight elsewhere, but also still come back to WWE and work with them.
Yeah,
he wanted to, but then things happened, and he went the AEW route instead of going back to WWE.
Yeah.
And then so I feel like that. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully he doesn't get snatched up by AEW quickly.
Facts.
You're gonna get it. Like shit, I should have.
It's like now I look at the rosters and it's like, the AEW roster is so stacked. That I kind of hate that some guys are still signed to WWE and not able to have dream matches that we could have seen.
Yeah, I could agree with that, but it's
because right now, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world right now is signed with WWE. Could you take a guess who that is?
I can narrow it down to two people. Roman? No. Adam Cole. Baby. I say Adam.
He is one of them.
One of them.
But who's the number one?
Probably it's not Daniel Bryan because he's not with him anymore.
I wouldn't even have Daniel Bryan up there in my top.
Is he in NXT?
No. He's on the main roster.
It's not Roman? It's Seth?
No. Baby, AJ Styles.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think of him.
AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the world, and he's been the best. I don't care if people want to say Kenny, Daniel Bryan, Rollins. You can name all your people. No one could tie their boots
like AJ Styles.
And like AJ Styles and be compared to him, because that dude is just on another level. The dude is 42 or something and still fucking killing it.
Yeah.
If he was not signed and we got AJ versus Pac, AJ and Kenny, AJ and either, or even though we've probably had it on a dark show or a dark match or a SmackDown randomly, we've never had it that they got to just go out there and kill it.
Yeah.
And that's the same reason why when people got hype about Shinsuke and AJ at WrestleMania 34, and they were like, oh, but their Tokyo Dome match was insane. And I was like, yeah, the Tokyo Dome match where they had creative freedom and they could do whatever. They have to fight tomorrow night on Raw and on SmackDown. They're not going to pull the same stuff they pulled in the Tokyo Dome where they didn't have to fight for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you had, that's why when you see an AEW pay-per-view or AEW show, they go all out and you're like, whoa, you're really impressed. But it's because they don't have to fight the next day.
Yeah.
They're not, like, now because of the pandemic, but like back then, WWE was on the road 4 out of the 7 days. You know what I mean? 5 of the 7 days or whatever it was. So they couldn't go all out every night.
Yeah, that is true.
But like, if you put AJ on the AEW roster,
Man.
or even send him back to New Japan and
God, man, NXT. I would have been in NXT. That would be awesome too.
Man, AJ at NXT. Wow.
Yes.
AJ and Gargano.
Oh my God.
AJ and Cole, of course. AJ and Cross.
Anybody.
AJ and Balor again. Like AJ and Dunn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I could go on and on. That's why he is the best wrestler in the world today.
Yeah. I agree with that, man.
AJ Styles, man, he's been it for a while. People could type there, Daniel Bryan's the best wrestler. I don't give a fuck. AJ Styles over everybody. You could put AJ Styles in the ring with me, and it could be considered a 5-star because he'll carry me to that 5-star match.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just that good, bro.
Even there, you probably have a 5-star match.
Facts.
me and you versus AJ Styles almost.
Yo, man, I'm so tight that they have him doing that. Like, I get it with the tag titles, it's cool. It's like you're building up this guy, you have him with the vet, but like, it's AJ, bro.
Oh, I know.
What do you have him doing?
Fuck, man. So I don't know. That could be a whole different episode of booking for AJ Styles right there.
Man, there's so many guys that you look at on the WWE roster that I feel like if you weren't signed, wow, you would have fun in the indies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's so many we could take in 20 matches we can book.
The whole NXT roster.
The whole roster.
The whole NXT roster.
Yeah, the whole NXT roster we could do.
Man.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Damn, I can. I don't want to get released.
You know who I've always right? Match that. Let me look it up real quick. I don't know if it's ever happened. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. I don't know if it's ever happened, but I've always wanted it to happen. Even though, shout out to him because he just announced he's retiring, Leo Rush, which I don't know what happened. It was at Double or Nothing. I guess it was the way he landed or something. But Leo Rush and AJ.
Ooh, yeah.
And you let them just go out there and just don't hold back.
Yeah.
Those are two guys that
at all. I don't think it happened. I know it was versus Leo, but I don't think it was AJ versus Leo. Shout out to him though. Shout out to Leo Rush, man.
Hope he's all good. I don't know. I think it was his arm, right? He said
shoulder. I think it was shoulder. Damn, that sucks. It's fucking 20-something years old.
And he was
he was going at it still.
WrestleMania weekend, he was like on every show.
Yeah.
He was killing it.
He was.
And this summer he was booked for mad shows.
Yeah, he was. What the fuck?
This fucking sucks, bro.
Things happen. You know, and let's say you can't wrestle. If the doctors tell you can't wrestle, you can't wrestle.
Yeah, facts.
That sucks, man. They didn't want to end it off in a terrible note, but you know what? Shout out to Leo Rush anyway.
Yeah, shout out to Leo Rush. Hopefully your shoulder gets healthy, whether we see you wrestle again or not.
Yeah.
He did his thing. They kind of had him with the Bobby Lashley thing, which was cool in WWE. They didn't really let him have a lot of matches when he was in the main roster, but he did his thing. He was entertaining. He had the Xavier role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, that is true.
But killed it, came back to wrestling, killed it. Now, only time could tell. Who knows?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I guess we can wrap it up there.
Yes, sir.
Ring Fanatics Podcast. Nick here with me as always, my boy Joel, and we'll see you guys next time.
Catch you.
Yeah.